So as I mentioned in my picks video, a game between two bad teams can make for some pretty exciting football, and I'd say that was the case tonight. I mean, the Broncos were winless, flying across the country, and still managed to come out with the win. So, Broncos fan, it feels good to win. Man, I feel bad for the Jets though, and we're gonna get to the ending of the game in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the game itself. The ending was an absolute train wreck, but we've got a lot of stuff to cover before we go over that. So, it's the first drive of the game. The Jets get the ball, and they make it to about the 50-yard line. Fangio dials up blitz. Alexander Johnson can't get his hands, or he can get his hands on Darnold, and he honestly probably should have sacked him. But Darnold, I don't know if he put a juke on him or whatever. I don't know, he just did a spin move or the Broncos were just allergic to tackling. But yeah, Darnold blows past Alexander Johnson. He blows past Justin Simmons, which Justin Simmons is in his contract year, so it's not really something you want to see out of him if you're his agent. And then Kareem Jackson also doesn't even try to make the tackle, and the Broncos go down 7-0 with, I believe, 12 minutes left in the first quarter. So this is where things started getting messy. After the Broncos got the ball and went down the field and kicked a field goal, the Jets, oh my God, I just don't know what they were doing tonight. So they did not dress Mekhi Becton, and they said that he would not be able to play tonight. So one of the Jets' starting offensive linemen go down, and then they say, "Oh, we need you tonight." So Becton gets put in there, and then after about 2 plays, he comes to the sideline holding his shoulder, and he looks pissed. Like, he looks really mad because they told him probably that he wasn't going to play tonight. If he was healthy enough to start tonight, he probably would have started tonight because the Jets need all the help they can get on their offensive line, and he was their 11th overall pick this year. But yeah, Becton comes out, and then this is where things start getting messy. So Alexander Johnson makes up for his missed tackle on Joe Flacco, or no, not Joe Flacco, Sam Darnold, and he straight up throws Sam Darnold to the ground. Now, Mike Barrera tweeted out, and he said that this was a legal hit and that Johnson swung him to the ground instead of lifting him in the air. But I don't know. Personally, I thought that should have been flagged, and I'm a Broncos fan, so even though I it doesn't benefit my team, I still think it should have been flagged. Because the frustrating part is that if that was on Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, you could bet that Alexander Johnson would have been fined, suspended, and uh, flagged, and maybe even kicked out of the game. Actually, that's not too far. What am I saying? Hit on Darnold was a little excessive. And then Darnold goes to the blue tent in the locker, or not in the locker room, on the sideline, and there was already a guy in there, so they couldn't really take care of him, so they had to go to the sideline. Joe Flacco was put in for a few plays, and then Darnold came back in, and the Broncos forced a punt. The Broncos got the ball back, and Judy just flat out absolutely mossed Pierre Desir on a dime from ripping downfield. Funny thing is, people said that coming out of Alabama, Jerry Jeudy struggled with contested catches. Well, this year he looks like he's struggling with uncontested catches a lot more than he is with contested. It hit Desir right in the face mask area, and I think Jeudy was even surprised that he was able to just snag it straight out of the dude's face. But yeah, that was nasty. And then the walk backwards, yeah, that was disgusting. And even LeBron tweeted about it. Nothing else really happened other than the Jets scored. The Jets kicked 2 field goals, and then the Broncos went down the field against the Jets and then punched it in with Melvin Gordon, and then the Jets also kicked a field goal. It's halftime, and nothing really happened until then. The Broncos got the ball back after half, and the Jets forced them to punt. And then the Jets went down and kicked a field goal, which seemed to be a common trend this game, as I think Sam Ficken went 5 for 5, and McManus went 5 for 5 as well. But yeah, the Broncos had to punt right after halftime. The Jets got the ball back, went down the field, kicked a field goal, and then the Broncos also go down the field. They put together a nice drive of their own, and Rippon just tosses an absolute dime in the red zone to Tim Patrick. This is the fourth quarter, and then this is where things started to get pretty messy. So Pierre Desir probably had the most up and down game I have ever seen from a cornerback. One play he's getting lost by Judy, the next he's picking off Brett Rippon on what was a terrible throwaway. I don't know if he was either trying to throw the ball away or he was just trying to force it into the hands of the receiver. I can't even remember who the receiver was at that point. Completely thought that with the way it's just gone with Fangio these past 2 years, that the Broncos were going to blow it because it looked like they were going to. Desir picked off Rippon again, and he took it back to the house. Broncos get the ball back, and this seemed to be a common trend tonight. Like I said, they went down and kicked a field goal, and they go up 28-27. Pardon me, 30-28, not 28-27. Jets get the ball back, and it's 4th and 3, and they decide to go deep for some reason. Darnold gets sacked by Bradley Chubb. Broncos take over on their own on the Jets side of the field. Melvin Gordon says game with a 45-yard touchdown run. And man, this is where it just started to become an absolute train wreck. So I didn't mention this yet, but the Jets were just, I don't understand what they were doing all night. They got flagged for 6 personal fouls. 2 of them were at the very end of the game. So the game was already lost at that point. Like, barring a miracle, the Jets were not going to win the football game. Adam Gase was still using timeouts, and I think if I was Fangio, it was 4th and 18 at the Broncos around 35-ish yard line, and Fangio decides to call a passing play and just burn the clock, which, interesting choice, I guess. But then the Jets get called for a personal foul, roughing the passer, and then I guess if that's what Fangio was trying to accomplish, he certainly did it. And then the Jets got called for another personal foul, which that's on Greg Williams. He has a history of playing with an undisciplined defense, and I feel really bad for the Jets because Jets fans deserve a lot better than Greg Williams and Adam Gase. But at the end of the game, Vic Fangio was having absolutely none of it, so the clock ran down to zeros, and Fangio basically said to everybody, get off the field. Like, he told all his players to just go straight to the locker room, and in the post-game interview, he said that he just wasn't happy with how the Jets were playing tonight. He didn't shake Gase's hand, and yeah. So let me get this straight. Greg Williams allowed 37 points to a team with a third-string quarterback who was flying all the way across the country, missing Von Miller, Cortland Sutton, A.J. Boye, Philip Lindsay, Jarrell Casey, and has 30% of their salary on either the IR or COVID list or COVID opt-out list. Adam Gase is now 20-32 over his past 52 games. He is now 1-11 in the first half of the season with the Jets. Noah Fant was also carted off the field with what they're calling a minor ankle injury, which I hope it's just that, because if he's out, we are already more screwed than we already are. And then Vic Fangio on the end of the game, he said, our sideline was getting pissed off about all the personal fouls, and we tried to avoid confrontation and thought that it was the best thing to do. So they go off the field, and Vic Fangio just basically says, get out of here, and doesn't even shake Gase's hand. And Steve Smith was just going absolutely off on Greg Williams in the Tuesday night postgame show, or Thursday night postgame show. I wasn't able to watch any of it because I was actually at Topgolf while that was all going down. But yeah, I'm not surprised that a career Panther hates a Saint. It has just been confirmed that the Jets will not be making a head coaching change tonight. There were some rumors floating around that if Adam Gase lost this game, that he would be gone to the street. And I really hope that Joe Douglas gets a chance to turn this around. I really like what they did in the draft this year. But yeah, Gase doesn't have any excuses anymore. Losing to Brett Rippon when the team had to fly across the country, and yeah, that's just, there's nothing really else to say. The players hate him. He mistreated Becton's injury. And this was also Gase's, I think, 5th. Yeah, that's correct. So this is Gase's 5th loss against a winless team post week 1. Last year, the Browns, Dolphins, and Bengals all didn't win a game until they played the Jets. This year, I don't know if you can count them, but the 49ers too. But the Broncos, man, there's just no excuse for the Jets to lose this game. That's all I'm going to say. Adam Gase needs to go, and he needs to go yesterday. But yeah, I haven't really talked about the Broncos much, but I guess good for Judy for showing out, and good for Tim Patrick too, really stepping up with Sutton out. Um, Brett Rippon looked good for 90% of the game, which is so weird because the times he didn't look good, he looked like Nathan Peterman out there. Yeah, this is kind of unrelated. I don't think many people are talking about this, but can we just talk about how Adam Gase just absolutely loves Frank Gore as a bell cow? He made Kenyon Drake sit on the bench in Miami so that Adam Gase could use Frank Gore as the bell cow back there. And here's something I don't think many people are talking about. If the Jets fire Gase, Greg Williams will likely be the interim head coach. But I think with tonight's showing from both of them, show that neither of them deserve to be coaching the Jets. I don't know. I just hope they can turn this around. Their fans deserve a lot better, and I'm starting to think that Darnold and Gase are not going to run the AFC East like Belichick and Brady did. That is going to do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are not already. Follow me on Twitter. Oh, it's up there, not right there. It's up there and in the description below. Anyways, guys, have a good day and peace out. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right.